Hello, St. Columba children and youth. I hope that you and your families are doing okay. I really miss seeing you at worship, and I hope we can be together again before too long. In the meantime, I'm keeping you in my prayers, and I hope you're having lots of times of fun and enjoying sunshiny days that we're having during the springtime. Today I wanted to share with you a story called A Big, Big Lunch. I wonder if now that you're at home, if you're helping your families prepare dinner. How many people eat together in your house? If you can remember way back to Christmas dinners, I wonder how many people gather for a family meal at that time of year. Well, I want to tell you about a little boy who helped Jesus feed 5,000 people. Moms and dads, children and grandpas and grandmas loved to listen to Jesus, and Jesus told wonderful stories about God's love. And people came from near and from far to hear Jesus speak. Who tells you stories? Do you like hearing them? One day, over 5,000 people had gathered to hear Jesus on a hillside. By the end of the day, they were getting hungry. Does your stomach growl, your tummy growl when you're hungry? I know mine does. Well, can you imagine 5,000 stomachs growling? They were very, very hungry. But they didn't have fast food restaurants, even takeout in Jesus' time, or they didn't have refrigerators or grocery stores. They pretty much had to grow their own food or catch their own food. But Jesus noticed that the people were hungry, and he cared about the people, so he said to the disciples, "You give them something to eat." What would you give 5,000 people to eat? The disciples said, "But Jesus, we don't have enough food. We'd have to work for a whole month to earn enough money to buy bread for all these people." But the disciples did find one little boy who had some food, and he was willing to share it. But it was only 5 small loaves of bread and 2 little fish. How many sandwiches do you think the disciples could make with just 5 loaves of bread? So listen to what Jesus did. Jesus looked up to heaven and thanked God for this food, 5 loaves and 2 fish. Do you ever say a prayer or grace before your family shares a meal? And then the disciples started passing out the food. First they passed out the bread. Imagine passing out the bread, one to the other. And then they passed out the fish, and it took a really long time. They thought for sure the food was going to run out, but they kept passing and passing. Oh, here comes another loaf. Pass it on. Here comes another fish. Can you imagine doing that now? Pass it on. Let's eat our bread and our fish. And when they did, there was plenty for everyone. And the people ate and ate until their tummies were full. You know what it feels like to be full. And there was so much food, they even had leftovers. Do you like leftovers? Imagine having all those leftovers. And the disciples went around, and can you imagine gathering up all of that bread and fish that was left over? And you know how many baskets they got? Big baskets of leftovers, 12 baskets full of leftover bread and fish. That's more than we could fit in any of our refrigerators. Jesus cares about us just as he cared about those 5,000 people. He wants us to have what we need. And we can trust that Jesus will help us to provide enough for everyone. Today at worship, we're going to have communion together, even though we can't be together in person. I hope you and your family can have some bread and a little bit of juice so that you can all share. And when I eat the bread and the juice, you will eat it too. Followers of Jesus have always shared this special meal. It's a way we remember Jesus. A way we fill our tummies and our spirits with strength and courage and love. Communion is a way we touch and taste and see God's love. So I hope you'll join with us as we take communion this week. Let us pray. Jesus, thanks for taking care of us and giving us enough food to eat. Be with the children and youth of St. Columba. Help them to not be lonely and fill them with your love. Thanks for bringing us together and feeding us so that we may be strong and follow you. Amen.